All right, what's up, everybody? Canuck here, and welcome to episode 3 of our Montreal Expos franchise here in Out of the Park Baseball 23. And I am hoping we're going to have a very busy month of July here. Not only do we have the draft coming up, which is coming up, I believe, a week from now. Yes, no, yes, a week from now. We also have the trade deadline looming at the end of the month as well. So we're gonna be busy. Um, well, we're gonna see what we can get out of the draft first, and as we near the trade deadline, we are going to look to trade away a few players. As I am probably looking at trying to get something for Rowdy Telez. He's playing very well. Is he a guy I want to keep around? I mean, maybe. I'll see what I can get for him, but I feel like teams would really be looking for a Rowdy Telez right now, and we might be able to get some good value out of him, especially with how he's playing for us right now. He's already hit 22 home runs, 62 RBI for an expansion team. I mean, those are some decent numbers, and Aquino as well. I think another big home run hitter. Um, Doing quite well. OPS plus of 121. Another guy who maybe some teams may be looking at for a big bat. So those are my two kind of main assets I'm looking to move at the deadline. Will it happen? We'll see. I'm not going to just trade them away for nothing. But we'll see if we can work some deals out. But let's sim ahead to the draft. And we'll take it from there on a busy July, I hope. All right, we are officially at the All Star break as well as the trade deadline. And the week was fairly uneventful, except for we did lose Nestor Cortez, which is a bit of a blow as he was someone I was potentially looking to move as well. As one of our pitchers, he's been struggling this season. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to get for him, but the torn labrum is going to prevent us from moving him. He's gone for 9 months, so it is what it is. We brought up I think Eric Fed from Butte to fill the gap. So we're gonna kind of move away from the current expos and look ahead to the future expos. And it is time for our first year player draft. And we will be drafting second because we're an expansion team. Mexico City will get the first pick. And, well, here we go. Here we go. So I'll just take a quick look at draft pool, who we might end up with. Um, I mean, there's Tamar Johnson, really solid shortstop. Drew Jones, I'm guessing, is the son of Andrew Jones. So he might be a good pickup for us, but I need to take a closer look at these guys, and I will let you know who the big picks the Expos made. So here we go, 2022 expansion draft. All right, here we go. We are at the draft. So we got the second overall pick, and we are on the clock. The Chupacabras went with Termar Johnson. Just kind of looking at the draft overall, it's not overly impressive compared to a lot of drafts that I've seen. I mean, there's not a lot of like unreal looking players, just potential wise, but there's some decent players out here. And I think Andrew Jones is one of them. Um, he's got a lot of potential for, above average contact, some solid gap power. He's got some pop. I would say above average, well, more than above average fielding if everything works out. Great range in the outfield. He's got some speed. Um, I think he'd be a great center fielder. So if he does end up panning out, so I think we are going to go with Andrew Jones with our first overall pick, second overall in the 2022 draft. All right, with our second pick, we are going to take a look at Cade Doughty, second baseman. Again, pretty similar kind of hitting makeup to Drew Jones, maybe a little more disciplined at the plate. He does have this really good leader work ethic personality, which I like to see. That work ethic, from what I understand, potentially could mean he progresses a little bit better than normal, potential wise, or meets his potential a little bit quicker. We'll see. But yeah, looks like a pretty good above average defensive second baseman. Can potentially play third and shortstop. Pretty solid infield range, error, and arm. So we're going to draft Cade. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll keep going and see what else we can come up with. All right, with our third pick in the draft, we are going to be selecting Wagner Morissette, starting pitcher out of Whitsett, North Carolina, high school pitcher. He had a pretty good high school career for sure. I mean, very young, very raw prospect still, but potential looks like he could turn into a decent control pitcher. He's even got a knuckle curve. Not going to progress too well, but who knows? He does have a very solid, again, leader, work ethic, adaptability, some really good personality traits that I am definitely looking for in this draft. So we are going to draft Wagner, and he will be a Montreal Expo. All right, for our next pick, we are going with another high schooler. And this, look at this kid, 6'5, 225 pound Jace Laviolette out of Texas. Look at this potential power. That is pretty exciting. I'm liking the look of that for sure. Um, just crushing the ball in high school, but I mean, this is high school. What's he gonna do in the big leagues? Who knows? Again, very raw prospect. He does have this 50 potential, according to my scouting director. OSA actually has him even higher with a crazy potential for I. This is an interesting prospect. I actually asked for a scouting director recommendation here, and I went against the direction of the scouting director, and because this guy caught my eye, and he's one of the highest potential guys that is still on the board. So we're gonna draft him. So welcome to the Expos organization, Jace Laviolette. We are gonna go with Carter Boyd, 18-year-old pitcher out of North Carolina on his way to the University of Arkansas. Pretty solid high school career. He's got three solid pitchers. He's a fly ball pitcher, which I don't love, but he does have that leader personality. Uh, we'll see what happens, but I thought we'd throw some pitchers in. Obviously, they're very, 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 very important, but you never know with a pitcher, especially with the draft. Um, we'll take a chance on Carter and see how he turns out. All right, the draft is over. Uh Usually what I do is I kind of manually draft the first 10 rounds and I let the CPU do the rest. I feel like it's very much a crapshoot after that. But I did try to focus in on guys with really high work ethic, intelligence. That's kind of the main personality traits I'm looking for. And then any, potential solid outliers, maybe some power, maybe some speed. And overall, I'm pretty happy with who we picked up. Other than draft picks I showed you, nothing, no one too exciting. But we're gonna keep an eye on them, obviously, see how they turn out, and we'll go from there. All right, the All Star game has finished. The National League winning 11-6. The Expos actually did have three All Stars, couple relievers, Darren Nunez, Jordan Romano, and Rowdy Telez were given All Star nods. So hey, 3 All-Stars for the Expos. Not too bad. We will take it. So, as we head into the second half of the season, we are just 2 weeks out from trade deadline, and I want to try to make some moves. So, like I said earlier in the video, we're going to try to look at moving Tellez, Aquino, and we'll see what happens. So, I'm going to try to work some deals, and I'll be back hopefully with some interesting transactions. All right, so we've simmed it ahead a few days, and I have found a trade partner for Rowdy Tellez. It is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. They're going to send me a couple prospects, couple second basemen. One is Brett Wisely, who's got a really nice little potential rating. OSA has him at 65, 55, our scout says, but above average hitting, solid fielding, really good upside here from Brett, and we definitely need some help in the infield. He's not someone that's going to slot in right away, but hopefully in the next year or two, he sneaks his way onto the lineup. And we're also looking at Greg Jones, another one who can play a bunch of fielding positions. He plays them all pretty well, or is working to play all of them pretty well. Really, really plus speed and stealing, which could potentially be great as at least a bench player or a pinch runner at the bare minimum. His minor league numbers aren't too bad, but I think we're gonna go with this. I mean, we weren't expecting to get anything amazing for Tellez, but I think this is a couple really solid prospects. So we are going to make this happen. All right, we have found another trade, and it will be with the St. Louis Cardinals, as Aquino is out the door, which is kind of great because I'm still having trouble pronouncing his name. We're getting a nice little prospect package, including a pitcher, Johan Oviedo, Delvin Perez, shortstop, and Nick Raposo, catcher. They're not bad, but some solid fielding stats here from Perez. And we get a not so bad pitcher. He's having a terrible season right now in AAA, but you know what? 3 prospects, you never know what could happen with them. For Aquino, who probably won't be doing too much, I think this is a solid trade for us. Picking up some more prospects, that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to build for the future, and I think this helps make it happen. So this deal is done. All right, we have reached trade deadline day. I looked around for a few other deals, but we don't have a lot of assets, so it was very hard to find any worthwhile deals. So the Tellez and Aquino deals were the only real ones I made. We've picked up a few prospects, and we're gonna try to build from there. This is not going to be a 2 or 3 year process. I think this is going to take a little bit longer, as the cupboard is absolutely bare. So the Expos walking into trade deadline at 43-62. As you can see, we are struggling mightily with scoring runs. We have no power. The defense-wise, though, defensive side of the ball, we are a top 10 team defensively. ERA, not so good as well. I'm going to show you guys a quick look at what the Expos look like now. If we have decimated the lineup, well, there wasn't much to work with to begin with, but there really isn't much now. We've got John Berti is going to be taking on the DH role. He'll be leading off as well. Chris Owings in right field. He's, okay, I guess. Travis Demerite playing in left field, expansion draft pick from Atlanta. He's played 21 games. He's hitting 109. Yikes. Matt Beatty is shifted over to first base. Maybe our strongest hitter at this point, which isn't saying much. He's only hitting 248 with 3 home runs and 17 RBI in 67 games. We've got LeCastro at center field. I did try to move him, but there weren't any takers, really. We got Reese McGuire at catcher. He's a bit of an upside at catcher, really strong positional rating, and he's hitting pretty well as well. Greg Jones, who actually we did make that trade for, we are real thin second base, so he is actually moved up and he's playing in the big leagues, and he is definitely overmatched. But at this point, we don't care. We'll give him some reps. We got Espinal as well. He's hitting pretty well too, and David Bustamante at shortstop, really solid positional shortstop, but also not hitting very well either. On the pitching side of the ball, we didn't make too many changes. We still have Karakoza at that sparkling 4-11 record, but he's our number one. We've got Valdez, Pavetta, Nix, and Lindblom with Barlow as our closer. We've got Jordan Romano, Aguilar, Nunez, Diaz, Munoz, Doval, and Matt Bush. Munoz especially really struggling, although he's only pitched 5 innings, so small sample size. But anyway, this is kind of the bare bones team. As you can see, we're at a $32 million payroll, so essentially nothing right now. We're actually still selling out, so I'm actually going to up the ticket prices a little bit, even though we're terrible. So yeah, I'm surprised we're selling right out. So I think at this point, as we're going to be hitting into the trade deadline, I'm probably just going to sim this to the end of the season unless something magical happens. But we're 27 games back. I don't think it's going to be happening for the Expos. But we'll take it from there. Oh, one other thing, Johan Oviedo, who we did pick up in that trade, he played a few games in July with the big club and ruptured his ulnar collateral ligament, and he's gone for 10 months. So that trade didn't quite work out for us with Oviedo. How much did he even play? He played 3 games. He only pitched 5 innings in a relief role, and ruptured that ligament. So, yikes. Anyway, we will sim ahead to the end of the season, and we'll see how the Expos did. All right, the 2022 regular season is in the books. And the Expos did struggle, especially near the end of the season. We were fighting for 6th in the NL East for most of August and September, but we did drop down to last with a 70-92 record. That being said, this is kind of what we expected as an expansion team. We didn't have much to work with. I was hoping maybe a 65-win season. So, coming up with 70, I'm fairly happy with that. Comparing ourselves with our expansion cousins, the Chupacabras, they finished at 53-109, so we got 17 more wins with them. We were tied with the Mariners. We had more wins than the Rockies. We had more wins than the Orioles. So we were bad, but we weren't the worst. Some things to build off of. A couple other things. We finished 5th in defensive efficiency, which is big. We couldn't score any runs, which we're definitely going to have to try to address in the offseason. But defensively, we were very, very, very good. And also based on, the prospects we've picked up and acquired through the draft, through some trades, we have built up our minor league system a bit. As you can see, Mexico City, who we want to compare with, they haven't done anything. But we have propped ourselves into 20th in terms of 20th best farm system, with our big prospect being Dave Medina, who we signed back with the international free agent signing, who is looking like an absolute beast. This guy, if he works out, he's only 17, but this could be our franchise player, but way too early at this point. But we can only hope. We can only hope for Dave. And we also got Manuel Beltre, who we acquired in a trade with Toronto. He's a top prospect too. So, couple decent players we can work with here. So some things to be positive or to feel positive for, I guess, heading into the off season. So let's just sim through the playoffs and see who takes it. As you're looking, the wild card is going to be Tampa and New York, Milwaukee, LA, with Kansas City and Toronto waiting in the wings. And then we got St. Louis, Cincinnati, Philly, which beat I think they beat Arizona, I believe, in a game 163 scenario. They're going to take on the Mets. Winner faces the Dodgers. So we're going to sim through and see how the playoffs unfold. And there it is, the end of the 2022 season with the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series in 7 games over the Yankees, who just went on an absolute tear in the playoffs, taking out the Rays in the wild card, upsetting the Royals, and then upsetting the Blue Jays, and then sneaking their way into the World Series. So, but the Dodgers did take care of them in 7. So that is the end of the 2022 season, and now the off season will begin, which we're going to tackle in our next episode with arbitration, free agency, all that fun stuff, trying to improve these Montreal Expos. So hope you guys stick with me with this series. Hope you're enjoying it. Any suggestions, things you feel I should do, things you want to see improved, please let me know in the comments, and we'll see you in the off season. Bye-bye.